Boo!
We're being told there's a story that's been messaged to us. Do you want to read it, or
Yeah, I can.
check the old Your Scary Stories inbox? We've got a story on deck that relates to this. If we want to incorporate it now, or if you're comfortable doing that, apparently.
I'm for it. I have it pulled up here. I suffer from something called sleep paralysis. Usually it happens once a month or so. To describe it, it's a bit like waking up but not wanting to open your eyes. The thing is, you're also still half asleep, so it can play some strange tricks on you. Depending on how imaginative you are, that can result in some fantastical or horrific things. However, the one thing that remains the same for everyone who experiences is you can't move. Keep that in mind when I start the story. Imagine this story starts off in the middle of the night. It was during a moment when everything would make sense to me. All I cared about was going back to bed. My mind wasn't ready to be awake. I wasn't thinking clearly. Woke up to a loud banging sound. The sound of the door to my bedroom. I knew the door handle to my bedroom wasn't working right. A strong wind from an open window, or even just press on it from the outside, would fling it open. It hit the wall and jarred me awake. I remember thinking, oh God, it's my damn dog pushing his way into my room. I leaned forward to check it out, and sure enough, I saw a shadow begin walking on all fours. All its hair was getting long and dragging on the ground a bit, and I thought to myself, I need to cut its hair. I lied back down and decided I would do that tomorrow. As I was falling asleep again, my mind became clearer. I started to think about the short period of events. I hadn't owned a dog in several years. Immediately, my heart raced. I leaned up again to look around. What was it that I saw? I figured I had imagined, I think, because I didn't see anything. I figured it was just being a scaredy cat. A grown man shouldn't be afraid of the dark, I thought. So I just went back to bed. It must have been nothing. As I closed my eyes, I could hear something. Like a raspy sound. I could feel a warm air on my face. Couldn't move. I could feel something was in front of me. Breathing on my face. It was loud and it wasn't moving. I froze with my eyes shut for a reason. I thought if I didn't move, it wouldn't do anything to me. After what felt like 10 minutes, it stopped. I could move again. I opened my eyes and looked around to see if I could clearly make out anything in the room. I could only see a shadow in the hallway and it looked like something was scooting along the floor. It was hard to tell. I got up and grabbed something. It was a golf club, but I decided I needed to do something about this. I wasn't imagining it. I stood up and followed it. Wherever it was, I went to my living room and I saw the front door was slightly open. A breeze was coming in. Closed it and locked it and searched my entire house top to bottom. I couldn't find anything. Whatever it was gone. Since then, I've been left to decide what it was. Maybe a raccoon made its way into the house. Maybe why did it have long hair? Maybe it was sleep paralysis. But why was it able to move around and look at first? I may never know.
Gosh, this happened to the sender?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Wow. Thought it was the dog, maybe. Probably did have a bad dog, I'm sure, at some point. They'd eat Nutter Butters and stuff. That's crazy. That's actually terrifying. Somebody said this terrifying. That's a perfect way to describe it. Sleep paralysis. So much stuff happens.
I will say this doesn't sound like a normal sleep paralysis that I've ever had. Normally, you can't, sit up and look.
Yeah, I can't move at all. I can hardly move. It's hard to move my head, even.
Yeah. I will say, I didn't necessarily ever have, I've had similar things happen in dreams where I've gotten up because I was certain that something had been in the room and I had gotten out and looked around, but I didn't experience the full measure of something like that before.
Yeah, well, thank God.
But sometimes you get that feeling, or at least I have, where I felt like something was there at some point, and I got up and I was like, well, there's a pretty good chance if this is some sort of creature, it's going to kill me, but I got to get up and I got to look. I've at times thought there's a good chance I'm going to die if I go out in the middle of this room, outside of this room. But there was no way I couldn't because of people that in the house that I needed to be sure were okay.
Yeah.
I've checked people's rooms. I've been but I knew whatever it was that I had experienced before similar to this, I knew it wasn't a person. That's the only thing. There's very few times in my life where I've felt something, a presence of something in the house, that I knew wasn't a person. It's just something like a smell almost. Like you can tell when you're dealing with something that isn't right. That reminds me of when I've done that. Concerning because of Cinder saying something that similar, but more so because I never actually saw anything. It was more just a feeling. Very concerning, but terrifying story. Very similar to the crawler, too, because it crawled around and scooted around.
Noted the hair, too.
Yeah, the hair.
We got a good 2 for 1 there, I tell you that, with that story.
Yeah, we're on for a scary evening tonight.
We're in the midst of a scary evening. That was a double whammy there. So let's move on.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?